My name is Deepika. Thank you. My name is Deepika, and I will be your program moderator this evening. I wouldn't say welcome and a very warm welcome to all of you because I think India is already sizzling given the summer temperatures rising. So a very nice and a cool summer evening to all of you. I am super excited. You know why? Because remember the last time that you had, one of those absolutely sumptuous desserts that you could not stop talking about? Remember the last time that you saw a movie which was so impactful that you could not stop raving about it? Remember the last time that you went to, probably a vacation or a resort where you had the experience of your lifetime? You know what? What we are going to be doing here today is much, much, much bigger than all of that. I am super excited because being a part of this community, being a part of this group, being mentored by the man himself, he has not just turned around my life 180 degrees. And it's been over a year that I'm going still strong. And I know I will as long as I keep doing what I'm supposed to. He's done this for hundreds of people. You must have seen a lot of posts on your social media. You must have seen a lot of happening, hot buttons on the group itself for today's session. Trust me, if you can still call somebody and ask them to log in, do it now, because what you're going to be hearing tonight is a consolidated, a concentrated experience of this man's 5 decades of healthy lifestyle, of fitness, of well-being, of great health. People who know him personally know that there is no disease, there is no lifestyle challenge that this man, Commander Farokh Tarapore, a world champion in the field of sports, a world authority in sports and nutrition, cannot fight, cannot win, cannot overcome. So, probably take a second, call up your loved ones, make sure they're there, because today we're going to have a heart to heart with this man so that your heart and your body is well protected for the rest of your life. I am super happy. Let's get going. Please put your hands together for my guru, my mentor, my coach, who relentlessly keeps telling us to follow the right practices so that we can actually live a very healthy life. Good evening, Farokh.
Good evening, Deepika, and thank you for that warm introduction.
Most welcome. Farokh, it's absolute an honor and privilege, and thanks to Veda for giving me this opportunity to have this chit chat with you. We would like to start with our mantra, something that we have literally seen this entire community evolve with, which is your vision, which is your mission, which is your dream for this entire country as a whole, is Har Ghar Healthy, Har Ghar Medicine Free. Could you, just elaborate a little for those of us who are listening to you for the first time today?
Yeah. See, India is a young nation, and we are already the number one country in the world as far as population is concerned. Our economy is doing well. It doesn't matter what the challenges are. We are going to be, getting there as probably after a few decades become the number one economy in the world. And that is a time. What I'm noticing is that having traveled to so many countries and so many continents, I have noticed that India doesn't do too well as far as health and fitness is concerned. I've raced in almost every continent. Sometimes I've raced in all the continents in the same year. And what I've noticed is that the level of, fitness or the education on health is extremely poor. Although, mind you, 5,000 years ago, we were far ahead than most of the other countries, We had Ayurveda with us, and all those things got gradually forgotten. And we have gradually, started making headlines for all the wrong reasons. We know that we are going to become the diabetic capital of the world. We got the, cardiac problems and many other lifestyle challenges. Today, you see on the roadside, even if I see a thin policeman, he'll have a pouch. And this is something I said that this needs to change. And the only way we can change is by giving the right education, letting the people know what is right and what is wrong. Because I have a very simple mantra that if you want to excel in anything, like I did in my sporting career, it is very, very critical to know what is the right thing to do, and then have the ability to duplicate it. And that's the reason why we thought of, making this community and spreading the word around. Because once somebody gets into the community, the probability of that person understanding, what is the right thing for health, what is not the right thing for health, and then being able to make some right choices in their life, for themselves and for their family. So it's extremely important in today's day and age, where all of a sudden the quality of produce, the food that we see that is coming into the market, has changed dramatically. Okay, it is more of packaged stuff. We got plastics, there's a lot of talk about nanoplastic, microplastic particles getting into your systems. All this stuff, if known, like, for example, I tell people, it's not a good idea to buy a thin Bisleri bottle from outside and drink water. It's not a good thing. But most people think that that's very safe, So this whole thought process and this education, we felt that needs to go out. Although, we economically, we are doing very well and we are growing and more hospitals are coming up, I can assure you that the rate at which we are going, we are walking, talking, ticking time bomb, which is going to explode. Even today, with so many new hospitals coming up, if you just go to meet somebody, there's hardly a bed available in the hospital. And that tells you the story. So even the Prime Minister's office has realized this. And they are looking at people, who are health specialists and who are nutrition, who have got sufficient knowledge to spread this word around, that over a period of time, that our whole infrastructure, otherwise our whole, medical infrastructure is actually going to break down. We need to understand this, that technology has advanced dramatically. Okay. And that's a double-edged sword. I'll just give you an example. I'm very fond of technology. I like technology. Just a couple of, weeks ago, I met one old retired captain, and he had this tube in his, in his system, and all the food was only, going to the tube. And I told him, look, we got fantastic technology over there. There was an possible surgery available that could, get his. I recommended it, wholeheartedly. Please go ahead. I'm glad to note that, he's back from the hospital. He's doing extremely well. He just called me 2 days ago, to thank me that, the advice that you gave me was very good. I'm like, my whole quality of life has improved. So people need to understand how to use technology. Okay. If you get a fracture, no amount of good nutrition and no amount of exercise is going to solve that. All right. You have to go and use the advancement in technology to get a fix for your body. So once people understand, where they must use the health principles, where they must use, issues about nutrition and exercise, and where they must use technology and where they must use medicine. And once they realize this, they will stop doing silly things. Like recently, I'm dealing with somebody, who's like, doesn't look like a psychiatric patient at all. The doctors are prescribing psychiatric medicine. Our body is not going to be too kind if you just keep putting chemicals into the body. Okay. We need to understand that our body is natural and we need more and more natural stuff going into it. So with things changing around you and people not having realized that, who cares, if somebody comes in a plastic wrapper, you don't even realize the amount of plastic particles that are going into your system. So one needs to be aware of all this knowledge. And that's where this whole concept came up, that the only way we can probably help our country, is with this philosophy that Herger Healthy, Herger Medicine, provided they understand what are the right things to do, and they're able to duplicate that. Like I often said on this platform that clean up your kitchen, please. Okay, carry into your kitchen. Take a box. Actually, picture this in your mind, guys. Take a box with you, a cardboard box. Okay, at least 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet. Go into your kitchen and look around. Okay, what do you have in your house? Because if you got things which are going to harm your health, all right, put them into the box and throw those boxes away and ensure that you don't get them into the kitchen. Keep it clear of snacks. I've always said on this platform that there's nothing like a healthy snack. So people need to understand that they need to know what is the right thing to do and then have the ability to duplicate it.
Awesome. Farokh, because we've been a part of this journey for such a long time, and some of us who are now health buddies graduated to that, level or whatever. Oftentimes we come across people, where, you're talking to somebody and as a veteran, so to say, a little more experienced person in this journey, we see what wrong things they are doing or where are they headed health wise. But these are people who say that I'm moderately active a person, I eat very healthy, I get my stuff from an organic store, etc., etc. I work out 3 to 5 days in a week, and I understand what I put inside of my body, and I don't have any health issues at the moment. Now, do such people really need to still focus and watch out for, their, so to speak, the health concerns that they can see in the foreseeable future? Like, what is it that they should probably take care today so that, continues to go the same way tomorrow as well?
Good health is not something that you fixed yesterday and it's a one-time fix. You need to keep working on it on a daily basis. If you're not growing, you're already going down. Okay, so you need to keep updating your knowledge. You need to remain current. You can't come with the same ideas of that existed in the 1950s and expect to have the same result over there. They what they ate at that time, they were eating food which was high in nutrition, but it was low in calories. They were eating food, the produce, the raw materials, which had less preservatives, okay, which had less chemicals, okay, which had less poisonous stuff into it. They did not have techniques, of ripening mangoes like we have today. Today you say even the watermelon is adulterated, the mangoes are adulterated, the grapes are put into some poisonous. So what does one really eat? Okay, and that is a reason why I always say that it is not a one-time thing, health. You got to keep at it on a daily, just like relationships. Okay, you cannot just expect that you did something once, and the relationship is going to remain strong. If you're not working on your relationship, it is going to go down. Okay, if you're not conscious about it, it is going to go down. If you're not going to be deliberate about it, it's going to go down. So you got to be, very careful about these things, that you need to keep asking yourself a question, am I growing on a daily basis? Okay. Am I really feeling good? How are my energy levels? Today, I think if I were to put this question across to even 1 million people, that would you like to have more energy? I don't think even one will say that I don't want more energy. Okay. Because it is becoming extremely difficult with the kind of produce that we are having in the market, with the kind of foods that are becoming processed and, super processed and refined stuff and super refined stuff. And all these things, are damaging our health, it's damaging our gut health. Who was bothered in the olden days, that, when you were eating off your farms, that what's really going in, you're very sure of what you're putting into your plate and putting into your mouth or putting into your system. But today, you have absolutely no idea. I mean, people think that if you go out and eat in, 5 stars, you should be fine. I totally disagree. And that is the reason why you find that even young sports people, they get heart attacks at an early age. They get into lifestyle challenges like diabetes and cancer and things like that. And as I mentioned earlier, that the general tendency of people is to say, "Hey, I got a headache. Chalo, kuch goli le lete hain." You don't do that, because if you keep doing that, you're not even realizing that you're damaging your body. So if you're not in a community like this, where it is, reputation is, I believe reputation is the mother of all teaching. You need to be in a community where the community keeps on reminding you again and again and again. You got a headache, don't take a painkiller. Okay. Drink more water. Okay. Get your food sorted out. Get your sleep sorted out. Go do some exercise. Go for a walk. Get into fresh air. Do some deep breathing. It will go. Okay. So we want them to understand, as I said, that, what are the challenges that are coming up in this era. Okay. Because these challenges were not there 50 years ago. Okay. We are living in an era where we have new challenges. We have food easily available, but we have no idea about the quality of the food that we are consuming. And that is the main problem, which is creating all these lifestyle challenges and lifestyle diseases. And then when you get into this lifestyle challenges, without application of mind, people just, rush to those pills, like they say, okay, this is like a magic pill which is going to sort it out. And when you do a lot of research on this subject, you find that none of this, your health has got ruined because of your lifestyle. There's no pill in the world that can reverse your lifestyle. You got to reverse it. And that is the reason why they need to be here. Because if they are not here, they're going to keep doing, they're going to keep making mistakes. They're going to keep doing silly things. And unknowingly, they're going to keep damaging their health.
Right. Taking a cue from the word challenge, challenge that people face these days. Now, growing up, I have personally, and I think I can almost represent all of us present on the group right now. We have seen common health challenges in adults in our family. Probably, say about 20 years ago, anybody who's above the age of 50, facing issues like diabetes, hypertension, gut imbalance, etc. But now, when I look around, people of my age group and maybe much younger, in their 30s and late 20s, suddenly I see, people are actually passing out, working out in the gyms, etc., etc. And, this people say, I can't do much about it. This problem runs in my family. It's been there for generations. How is it that I can probably, or we can help an individual keep themselves and their next generation as well away from these basic, so to speak, the lifestyle diseases that we talk about or that we know of?
Most of the people want to find an excuse. And the best excuse is that it runs in my family. And my favorite phrase on this platform is, diabetes doesn't run in your family. You get diabetes because nobody in the family runs. All right. So typically what has happened is the food producers become bad. Okay. Health, the information and the idea of good health, has changed. So let me explain to you a little bit on a broader perspective. When you're born and when you're still growing till the age of 30, right? So your body, needs a lot of calories anyways, because you're still growing. Then 30 to 40 is a solid period where you're not growing anymore, so you only need maintenance. But most people don't realize this. And that is the reason why that in that 30 to 40 year period, it's not uncommon to find people becoming 10 kilos overweight. If they were 60, they become 70. If they were 70, they become 80. If they were 80, they become 90. And when you actually do the maths, they've not suddenly gained 10 kilos, they've just gained 3 grams a day. And it's just 3 grams a day, 3 grams a day, 3 grams a day over 10 years, it's an extra 10 kilos. So they don't even realize, Okay, what has happened? Because it has happened, the change has happened so suddenly that they have not realized till they have to, hey, now the trousers are not fitting, the shirt is not fitting, okay, dresses are not coming on. So then they start to think, okay, small था तो अभी उसको medium ले लो, medium था तो okay, take large, take extra large. Instead of correcting it at that, correcting it at that time. And how will they know what is to be done if they don't come into a community where, people with experience can, share their information and knowledge so that you don't have to wait till things go really berserk. You don't have to wait till your sugar levels go high. Yes, on this community, we have helped a lot of people with high sugar levels, and the sugar levels are dropped, without the use of medication over a period of time. But my question is, why wait? Okay, if you understand what's happening, if you are giving the body the right amount of nutrition, the right amount of exercise, you have found the safest way to that. So if you understand that, then there'll be no need to do crazy things, be over dependent on medication. This is a mindset, and this is what this whole community is all about. That we help people change their mindset, because if the mindset doesn't change, then nothing changes. You will continuously keep doing silly things that will, lead you in the wrong direction over a period of time. And there are, even at a very extreme stage, the body is very solid. There's always a chance that it will recover back. But of course, there will be many such cases where you will reach a stage where the recovery is, no longer possible, that the damage you have done is so much and that you've not realized it. Most people don't realize that over-medication and prescribed drugs are the third largest killer today after cardiac problems and cancer. Now, this is not a small percentage of people falling prey to this. Okay. So you need to be very, very careful as to when you should be, moving towards medication, and when is it that you really need to only change lifestyle. Okay. And when is it that you need to adopt healthy practices? Okay. Are you doing too much? Are you doing too little? It's sometimes difficult to understand. It's sometimes difficult to feel your body. Like one of the biggest assets that I have for myself is that I can feel my body. Okay. I can feel it instantaneously as soon as a single virus, a cold virus, would attack my body. Okay. And I know what is to be done. And that's the reason for decades, I haven't had a cold, I haven't had a cough. So these are things that get taught on this kind of a platform. They get taught in this kind of community. And when you stick in a community, you start gaining and learning from each other's experiences. And there are so many communities out there, so many WhatsApp groups doing all faltu talk. Why not be on one that can help you look after your health?
True. I think I would have probably taken it a little later, but a very relevant question just came up when you answered the last one, Farokh. Somebody on the group says that when you are with your children and you're not well, they will force you to take a medicine, and even if you don't want to have it. Now, how does one, because at times we tend to do a lot of things just because the family around us will not let you live at peace with the way you want to do it. A very common challenge. Can you help how to address such a situation?
Can I add a little bit to more this?
Uh,
I'm Commander Sharma. This was my question.
Ji, Commander Sharma, you just
Go
type
ahead.
the text. Okay, go ahead, please go ahead.
I
No
just wanted to add a little. You see, perhaps because of the husband and wife both working, they feel that there is nobody to look after the old man or the old lady. So the best thing is to give the medicine and then they will sleep, or they will get rid of the pain instead of having the natural cure. So Farokh sir, please elaborate, how do we meet this challenge from the younger lot?
Yeah.
Thank you.
See, I strongly believe that you should never tell children anything. Okay. Children watch what the parents are doing. Okay. If they see, you popping a painkiller every now and then, they're going to probably duplicate that or make it worse. But if they see you, going for a run, going, for a brisk walk, okay, clearing up, drinking enough water, hydrating. Now, don't tell children, I'd say that, drink more water, or have the right protein. All right. Don't eat junk food, okay, which is impossible. It's the worst thing you can do. Children see, monkey do. Children see what you are doing, and there is a possibility. I'm not assuring you that it will happen, but at least there is a possibility that they might follow some of your good things. Whatever bad you do, they will do double of that. That is a guarantee. Okay. But good things, they might duplicate. And that is your only hope. You can create the right environment for them, for your children. You can put children in the right community. There is something called as the principle of edification. Children won't listen to you, but they probably listen to somebody else whom you have edified. So if you say, hey, listen to Farokh, he's a double world champion, he's been very, very, into health and fitness and nutrition, and he has a pretty good knowledge, some chance the guy will say, okay, I have this problem, and what should I do about it? And probably it may work. But telling children what to do, please, they have Google for that. My sincere advice to parents is, please don't tell children anything, because they think they know it. And in this day and age, they have Google. So they think that now what they don't understand is that there's a lot of rubbish on Google. Okay, there is a lot of misinformation on Google. There is a lot of wrong information on Google. Okay, wisdom lies in differentiating the fact from fiction. So for that, it is extremely important that, if you guide them towards a community, if you guide them towards good, healthy practices, if you are not ordering a pizza, encouraging them. I mean, it is today children are ordering at 2 and 3 in the morning. It's something that I personally found it very difficult to digest. That how can you be eating food at 2 and 3 in the morning? You are not a night owl. Okay. You are supposed to be sleeping at that time. Now, if you are not sleeping and you're going to order this stuff, you are going to really damage your entire gut health. Once your good microbiomes, become really less and the bad microbiomes increase, it is the beginning of all the basic problems in your body. And this is what was taught to us 5,000 years ago by Ayurveda. Okay. Sort out your gut and you'll generally be living quite a healthy life. So this entire concepts are now, getting a little bit of, becoming a little bit fashionable. Good health, gut reset is becoming a very fashionable word nowadays. I'm happy to learn that at least some people are focusing on gut reset and at least focusing on, what they eat, and how it will impact the gut. In fact, my theory is very simple. Every time I put food on my plate, I actually ask myself a question that is this going to damage my gut? Is this going to damage my good bacteria and increase my bad bacteria? Or is it going to increase my good bacteria and keep my bad bacteria down? If that is, if this thought process just comes into your mind, you'll probably be on the path to good health and good level of fitness.
Well, I'm glad you just said that, Farokh, because I think that mindset and that looking at that plate and just running that question 2 to 3 seconds in your mind really sorts out in terms of deciding whether you should be having what's there on your plate or not. But a very pertinent point that you picked up, Farokh, these days, thanks to social media, there are extremely contrasting views, by some of the leading health experts that, one person, so to say, certified nutritionist would say you should not eat a certain thing. The other would say you should definitely eat a certain thing. Some would say don't take it in the morning. Some would say take it first thing in the morning. Now, because we are living in an era which is like the digital era, and like you said, Google, and now you have Chat GPT and this entire, who should one listen to? How should one decide that whatever that we are eating, is it sufficing the daily dietary requirement of my body? Is it helping me build my immunity? How does one gauge it for themselves? Because, I strongly personally feel that somebody who's sitting in one corner of the world does not know me personally. He doesn't know who I am, what I do, what's my lifestyle, what's my background, what's my age. Why shouldn't somebody just follow blindly these contradictory views? That
See, I've just mentioned that there's a lot of stuff on Google. There's a lot of misinformation on Google. Okay. There's also some good stuff on Google. And wisdom lies in differentiating fact from fiction. Right. Now, whenever you have these extreme ideas, just apply my rule of the thumb. Most of the extreme ideas are typically wrong. Okay. Truth lies somewhere in the center. Now, also, you must understand that every human being is also different. Why is it that some people are allergic to nuts and some people have no allergy to nuts? Right? So you need to figure this out. And that is why you need to be in a community. Okay. And that is the reason why on our community, we never give anybody any diets. Okay. We tell them that you tell us what you're used to eating, and we will do editing to that particular stuff. Because there's a high chance that you will probably commit to editing rather than giving a North Indian South Indian menu and giving a South Indian a North Indian menu, or vice versa. So you need to basically understand what is the right thing, and you need to try it out on yourself. And that is the reason why we keep on repeatedly saying that whatever you do in life, you must monitor. Because if you are monitoring, numbers don't lie. If you are monitoring, there is a probability that you may move towards your goal. If you're not monitoring, you will end up somewhere. Okay. So that is extremely important to understand, that it is a community like this where you will get the right advice for yourself, provided you're reporting correctly. Okay. That what should be the right thing for you. Okay. I am never for these extreme thought processes. Like somebody turned around and say recently, walking is not good. How rubbish can that be? Okay. Somebody may say, don't go to gyms. Again, rubbish. All right. You got to figure out, remember, balance. Balance is the most important thing in life. Okay. If you give the body the right amount of nutrition and the right amount of exercise, we keep on mentioning this again and again, not too much and not too little. You'd have found the safest way to health. This is extremely important to understand, that balance is the key. Okay. Somebody says, run a marathon. Say, don't run a marathon, but at least, walk 4 or 5 kilometers. All right. Because nowadays, with technology, it is impossible. I repeat, it is impossible not to have a sedentary lifestyle. It's impossible. Okay. Most people are, they get out of the house door, get into a lift door, get out of the lift door, get into the car door. From the car door, they're going into the office door, from office door, back to the car door. It's like door to door, basically. Okay. There is just no chance of physical activity. So unless you're conscious about it, and that is the reason why on our website, we have, been very deliberate about it, that let's make some simple exercises, all right, which don't need gym. You're sitting in the office, let's find a way of doing something. Yes, even in the office, you always get a minute. So most of the exercises that we have designed are for a minute. And that's the very reason behind it, that you cannot, it's area beyond your control. You cannot change the technology at, growing at a rapid pace. And the more technology is going to grow, Like I often joke about this, that now there'll be a remote to even get a remote into your hand. Well, people used to at least get up to switch on the television. Now they don't even do that. There's a remote besides a bed, just used, and I can assure you, in another next 5 or 10 years, just your head movement will be enough. So technology is so you are entering into an era which is by and large going to make you sedentary. So unless until you are deliberate about it, okay, unless and until you are conscious about it, and unless you decide that health is important for you, you will not find the motivation to do the work. I've always said that there are two important things, two important aspects: your why and your how. Okay, please figure out why you want to be healthy. Okay, and if that why is not bigger than your how, at the first sign of challenge, you will always give up. But if your why, if your reason is bigger, okay, then how to do it, the how will be easy to find, right? So always make sure, keep your why bigger than your how, and you will find that you'll move on this, part of safest way to good health. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I think amongst the other doors that you mentioned, Farokh, if somebody can open the door of this opportunity and be a part of this community, a lot of their health concerns will definitely be answered. Farokh, from the day that I have known you, there are two words that I've always heard you say. One is the health span, and the other is lifespan. Now, we think we understand, them by definition, but I'm quite sure that, we still don't understand them as much. Could you elaborate a little more for somebody who's,
Yeah.
probably new on this platform with us tonight?
Lifespan is your biological age. You are 20 years old, you are 30 years old as per your date of birth. As simple as that. Now, this new word, health span, has been introduced for people to get conscious about the fact. All right. You obviously, if you're 30 years old, you don't want your health span to be 60, right? You want to be lesser than that for good health, right? But the more we are testing people in today's day and age, okay, most people have a health span which is worse than their lifespan, right? I'm seriously very conscious about this fact that as you grow older, you find that there are different health challenges. Trust me, the kind of strength that you'll have between your 30 and 40, you'll never have that same strength again. Okay. After 40, some small health challenges will start to trickle in. After 50, it's a slightly different game. After 60, trust me, it gets really serious. That's why you're called a senior citizen. Okay. And after 70, I'm sure it gets worse. Now, we know that this is the natural phenomena. Okay. Aging is a natural process, but aging healthy is a matter of choice. Okay. You decide. That day I was in a party and say, hey, come on, let's have a beer. I said, no, sorry, I don't drink. Say, why don't you drink? Then I told him exactly the same thing. I've taken a conscious decision, okay, I love my life too much. Okay. I want to ensure I don't care how long I live. But what I'm terrified about is not living healthy as long as I live. And I find this very difficult to understand when people are not scared of this statement here. Because when I've seen several families that one person in the family, falls sick, the kind of strain it creates on the entire family, not only the entire family, but entire families which are connected to them also. So don't you think that it should be your personal responsibility, to look after your own health so that you don't become a burden to others, that you are adding asset to the household rather than becoming a liability, and then just letting the chemicals do the job, which of course they will never, they will do to some extent for sure, Okay, they'll always treat the symptom, but in 99% cases, they will never treat the cause. So it's extremely, I think one should be extremely scared of this phenomena. It should be your own responsibility to ensure that your health is good and the health of your family, is also good. Yeah. I mean, today I see that so many people eating without application of mind. I call it mindless eating. Is some people don't even understand that when they got peanuts in front of them, they just keep popping them. You know, each one has their own style also of how the peanut goes from the hand into the mouth. All right. They don't realize, I mean, such mindless eating. Okay. Now, if you do it once, it's not going to hurt. Okay. If you do it twice, it's not going to hurt. But the concept not being there is definitely going to hurt. Now, what's the most dangerous thing of doing it once or twice? If you do it once or twice, very likely that you'll do it more often. And when you do it more often, okay, your lifestyle, your health span will deteriorate. And you got to be very careful about ensuring that your health span is better than your lifespan. Now, at any given point of time, I've always tried to maintain at least a 30 to 35-year gap between my lifespan and health span. So I get very nervous if that gap reduces. The goal is, so if it reduces by 1 or 2 years, I try to work a little harder, make some changes. Is it easy? I would not say it is easy, but it is also not difficult. It all depends upon your mindset and what you want. If you want to be healthy, you will find a way around it. Knowledge is not important because if, as I mentioned, if your why is clear, you will find the how. But if there are some people I've noticed on the group who are just interested in the how, and I know that you can keep giving them all the right advice, but things will not change till they in their own minds, make the why bigger. Making the why bigger is everything. Because once the why is bigger, I can assure you, you will find the right solution. There is no question about it. So try and work on your health span. Your goal should be to always keep reducing your health span. Reduce your body fat, to the right amount. 99%, more than 99% is always has more fat, is always has more visceral fat. Muscles are less in the body. Weight is slightly on the overweight side. So all these things we know make your, is the calibration for your health span. So be conscious about the fact, drop these factors in, and automatically your lifestyle diseases, challenges, okay, will be at a lower level. So work on your, health span. Don't worry about your lifespan. See how big a gap you can create. The bigger the gap, the better off you are.
Well, rightly said, Farokh. Yes, it's not easy, but it's not too difficult, and it's definitely worth it. I think those of us who've been a part of this journey feel this very strongly. Well, Farokh, we have a lot of new people with us tonight on this platform, and as somebody who's absolutely new to the subject of health and fitness, with us tonight, perhaps they're starting this very moment onwards. What are the top three things that they can do to get going on this journey consistently hereafter? Like, people start, but they don't really follow through. The consistency is the key for them. So, your inputs.
Number one, be very clear about your why. Okay. Number two, find a good coach or a mentor. Extremely important. Okay. Number three, get somebody onto the community. Because when you get somebody on the community, you automatically take the role of the leader. And as a leader, your subconscious mind is going to help you. So it's actually a very selfish thing to do, to get somebody onto it. Because actually, you are doing yourself a good service, because now you are scared that, you got somebody in and you're responsible for them. And then say, hey, I can't be looking bad, So
Well, awesome, Farokh. We have some very key questions posted by some of the participants. I'll just take them one by one. We have Mr. Sidwa. He's asking, what diet should one have for fatty liver? And is milk thistle the right vitamin for it?
Absolutely. Milk thistle with dandelion is such an amazing herb. When it was when this was introduced by Nutrilite in India, I had the fortune to really check out the background and the kind of experiments that they did. They are amazing. I'm running out of time, and I would have narrated the whole thing. But yes, the answer is yes. It's extremely good, and you should take at least one after breakfast and one after dinner. Okay, and also at the same time, do a little bit of exercises, do a little bit of abdominal exercises. Check out our website. There are some very good abdominal exercises mentioned over there, which are very easy to do. And at the same time, increase a little bit of your protein intake, reduce your alcohol content completely, and reduce fatty content, and your liver shall, rejuvenate to its original form quite comfortably.
Well, thank you
But
so
keep
much.
monitoring. Keep monitoring. That is the key.
Definitely. So we have another participant. He's asking that his son is autistic and his muscle tone is very weak. What food would you suggest for him? What is it?
It's very, very important for him to get protein and omega-3. Okay. These are two extremely important things because protein is the building block of life. And when somebody has that kind of a challenge, they definitely need more protein and they definitely need more omega-3. Okay. And the combination of these two with a little bit of encouragement, into doing some muscle building exercise will go a long way in, finding, you'll find that over a period of time, there'll be some form of recovery here.
Well, I hope that answers your question, Mr. Kishore. Farokh, a little one topic. People these days, I kind of wanted to ask this earlier also as a part of another question. Somebody who feels that, they're having their macro and micronutrients very regularly, and people who feel they're having organic food material, etc., cooking at home, do they really still need to probably fill in the nutritional gap with some supplements? I mean, what is your key takeaway for supplements per se?
Let me just give you a little background to this. I've raced for the country for 4 decades, okay, at the highest level. And what I have seen is absolutely mind-boggling here. That even if a person has a deficiency of one micronutrient, okay, you can go really wonky here to such an extent that you may get confused between right and left. And this is not some ordinary people I'm talking about. I'm talking of top level athletes, okay, who have been training 365 days of the year, okay, for at least 10 years before they reach there, okay. And if something like this happens, of course, you can say that the stress level is high, anxiety level is high, all that is there. But if such fit individuals, okay, can go so crazy, with the deficiency of one micronutrient, can you imagine what would happen to a person which lacking fitness? And then this, micronutrient after micronutrient deficiency, all right, it just keeps adding up. And suddenly you find that you're making mistakes, you're not able to focus, you don't have the energy, you don't have the spring in your stride, you're just not feeling, younger. And all this happens because of the food that you eat will give you a certain amount of nutrition. Your body needs a certain amount of nutrition. Now, when there is this gap, okay, your body is going to suffer. And that's the reason why supplementation is like a huge, it plays a very important role in trying to balance out. Because when you take the supplementation, in most cases, I've noticed that you're still deficient in the right amount of micronutrients and the macronutrients that you need for your day-to-day activity and for your entire repair of your body and for all the workout that you need to do. So at the end of the day, ask yourself one simple question: are you feeling 20 years younger? Okay, without anything, then maybe you are an exception to the case. All right. If the answer is no, then find the right supplementation program for you from people who have experience. I've been taking supplements for the last now almost 40 years. And I have gone to extremes to find out, what happens if you take it. I've just not taken them blindly. Okay, done a lot of research behind it. I've done, talked a lot about it with people, read a lot of stuff on it. And then I've done experiment on my own self. Like I've taken them, then I've not taken them. And then I've seen the difference. And hence, we are very clear as to what each supplement does or what it does not do or what is its capability and, what are its limitations. So that is the reason why you need somebody, advising you as to what you need, when you need it, and how to take it. To give you a simple example, calcium and iron. Calcium interferes with the absorption of iron in the body. If you take calcium and iron together, it's of no use to you because you're canceling it out in your body. Right. So these kind of knowledge and information is required, and that is why you need to, be with an educated community which can put you on the right advice, who are not only like trying to give you that product, but also have taken it themselves and experimented it themselves as to what the product is capable of doing.
Okay, we have 2-3 more questions. We are running a little short on time, but if you could just, quickly help us with those. We have Mr. Hemrajani who says, I'm walking daily 8 kilometers. What vitamins or proteins should I be taking at the age of 62?
Okay. First of all, you need to understand that walking alone is not the best idea. You must walk and also do some muscle building exercises, because at 62, sorry.
He also says that he faces a lot of stiffness in his back when he wakes up in the morning.
That's exactly what I was coming at. In fact, I didn't know that was a part of the question, but I was coming to that exactly, the same point, right? So you are at the risk of sarcopenia, all right? So at 62, you'll be losing muscle on a daily basis. So if you don't do something about your muscle, okay, so for you, it's extremely important that before you start walking, you must do some stretches. Okay, you should build up your walk slowly. That initial first part should be slow. The fastest part of your walk should be in the center. And then the later half should again be a little slower to cool down and then stretch again. But after you finish that walk, okay, I strongly recommend that you go through our website. There are some really simple exercises over there, muscle building exercises. You must build muscle. If you don't want to do that, then invest in some weights, okay, and do curlings. At least keep, reach a level where you can hold a 15-kilo dumbbell in each hand. So it means 15 kilos in right hand, 15 kilos in left hand. And you can do at least 8 repetitions in each hand. So 16, 1 to 0, and do 3 sets of that. If you do that at least 3 times a week, you'll be fine. You don't need to do that. Like I don't lift weights, okay, now at my age, but I still do my muscle building exercises, free hand exercises like push-ups, building my triceps, building my abdomen. I do all my free hand exercises, and that's very easy because then I'm not stuck with, if I'm traveling or doing anything, if I'm in a hotel room, I don't care, I just do those muscle building exercises and I'm fine. Okay, so your stiffness is because you are not stretching enough. So you need to introduce your stretches. Yeah.
Great. Farokh, we have Mr. Sidwa. He is saying that how should the pre and probiotic vitamin and digestion vitamin, how can I consume them daily? Like, at the same time. So essentially his question is, how should the pre and probiotic vitamin and digestion vitamin be consumed daily?
Well, whenever you're taking the pre and probiotic capsule, the question that needs to be asked is your food cold or is it warm or hot? Okay. If it is cold, you can take it immediately after that. If it is hot, you need to wait for 30 minutes and take after that. Okay. But while you're taking pre and probiotic, also make sure that you're adding fiber to your supplementation program. And it's the best time to take the fiber is 30 minutes before your breakfast time. Sorry.
Farokh, could you repeat the last line because there was a network issue? Just the last line that you said.
I said that if you're taking it at dinner, take it 30 minutes, mix the fiber in a glass of water, drink that, and then have dinner 30 minutes after that. Preferably finish your dinner before sunset. And whatever time you're having your dinner, have this fiber 30 minutes prior to that.
Awesome. And we are really running short on time, but yes, I see Commander Vadera. If you want to quickly just ask your question, please go ahead. Unmute yourself and you can go ahead. I've sent you a request to unmute yourself, Commander Vadera. We can't hear you.
Okay, good evening. Looking forward to this session, exclusive session by my family doctor, Dr. Farokh Tarapore. I do agree that you have to live by example. So one example which I can give of my own family is, of course, my daughter always used to have dinner before sunset, being a yoga coach. I started having when I joined the program. And I was pleasantly surprised when today I found my wife also having dinner with us before sunset.
Very good.
Which shocked me. Yeah. So of course, one has to live by example. But what Commander Lakshmi Kumar put up a point is a very valid point. Our children or grown-up children, they think, they can rely on Google Baba, or Google Baby, and Chat GPT and all. So anything you say, they have an answer. They say, no, but I checked with Google. Now this Google is creating a lot of chaos in the sense that some information is, of course, very authentic, but we don't know, whether Miss Google is correct or Commander
Sir,
Tarapore
I
is
just
correct.
put into Chat GPT, who is Farokh Tarapore? And the answer was Farokh Tarapore is the admiral in the Navy. And now you know how far accurate that is.
No. Chat GPT meant to say that Farokh Tarapore should have been an admiral in the Navy. That's what it meant. No, but this is something, it does bother us because, and then you have to give in to children. You old man, you don't know this thing, ABCD, you listen to ABCD. Google is saying that. So that's a challenge.
Very true, sir. Very true. That is why I said that don't tell children anything. Be the example. And
Yeah.
like you rightfully just said, that if you were the example, then things started turning around in your family. It's not what you tell them. Children are very smart nowadays. Okay. You don't tell them, you show them. If you show them, there is a probability, some little probability that they might listen. Not that they will still listen. At least the probability is there. But if you just tell them, then you forget it. They are not going to listen. So don't even try. Don't even bother. I get a lot of calls from people, tell my teenager son that, when I'm leaving for work in the morning, he is coming from outside to sleep. And I said, okay, that is exactly what every teenager is doing nowadays. All right. So this whole circadian rhythm and all will go for a 6. There's a price to be paid. But it is only when they are interested in their own health is when things will change for them.
Another good thing that happened is after joining this community is now I'm conscious of what I'm eating. In the sense, even in a party or somewhere outside, when I say, yeah, is it worth eating and spoiling your night?
Exactly.
That feeling has come in.
Absolutely. That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
Yeah. But I still enjoy my glass of beer once in a week when I have a non-veg. But I do extra exercise for that to compensate for that. That I will not let go.
Good.
Fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was totally a mind-blowing session to the very word of it. A big thanks to you, Farokh, for, from addressing questions from A to Z for all of us. We've covered all that we could in this short span of time, and I'm sure people who are new here and the ones who've always still been there on the group for a long period of time, it would have still added a lot of value, a lot of information, a lot of fact checking for them to seriously think about going strong and continuing on this journey of health and wellness. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you take away with you a lot of information tonight. And we will see you next Monday with another session, some more information that will add more value, more life to your life. Till then, stay safe.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah,
Thank you.
take care and make sure you spread the good word, because our mission, along with Farokh, is Har Ghar Healthy, Har Ghar Medicine Free. Thanks a ton, Farokh, for the lovely evening. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Everybody.
Thank you. And you've been a wonderful MC.
Thank you so much.
Always, always.
Good night, everyone.